C Marty said, how y'all doing, man? From the East Coast to the West.
What's good?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's good with it, man? I got the podcasting extraordinaire and personal trainer. We talking about Cedrick McFadden, Camp Ced with me, and CMartyFit. Y'all already know what it is. 2019, we kicked off Max Out Time in 2019 with his New Year's resolutions. And he says to this day, y'all was mad at him because we were talking about you putting your stomach in the waist. We're not even gonna get into it today.
I've seen it all.
I'm gonna take us over to the West Coast with CMartyFit, man. We're gonna talk about, your transition out of basketball into personal training. Did you ever think you would make it this far?
Yeah, I knew I could, man. One thing about basketball is it really prepared me to have a lot of faith in myself, a lot of confidence. So when I knew whatever I decided to do, I would be, pretty successful at it. So, and you know a little bit about my story. When I came out, I was trying to go overseas. When I got out of college, it didn't work. And I got stuck working front desk, preparing for overseas, and it's crazy. Like I just decided to start training. People kept asking me to do it. And man, I just fell in love with it. So I'm thankful that, the process is going pretty well.
What happened that day that the training bug bit you?
Oh man, the day that it hit me, so I built my training network in the DMV from like a lot of my teammates, like their fathers, mothers, grandmas, aunts, and like, bro, there was one week like everybody's family member was hitting me up, and I just started to love it. I started to enjoy it. People was posting me on their story, and it probably was like my third or fourth weekend of training. That's when I really knew like I'm gonna be straight. And then a lot of my old teammates wanted me to train them too. So yeah, bro, it was just 1 week where I was just like, I'm gonna go all in. I love it.
So you started getting people to just hitting you up, and said you also were a top-notch basketball player out of the DMV. I mean, y'all remind me of each other. Both, point guards back in the DMV, played basketball, college basketball, and everything like that. Concordia College, 1,000-point scorer. When did the training bug hit you?
So man, it was like I actually found a passion for fitness my grad year at college. So I got like a little front desk job at Orange Theory. Those are becoming popular. So group fitness class, and the owner there asked me if I wanted to, start coaching, and I was just like, I mean, I'll try it out. Why not? So I tried it out, got my certification, and then I was like, okay, I actually like this. That summer I was training to go overseas, go to a few like combines and stuff overseas. So I was training at the place where I work at now on Prime Performance in Larchmont. And I was training with a couple of their trainers, and they was just, just teaching me the importance of training as so far as like, injury prevention and, just making sure athletes can move well. So that's where I fell in love with training, being able to move well rather than, obviously you get stronger and everything, but the really important is to move well, so you can prevent those injuries.
What is so important about the movement in athletics? I mean, we look at a guy like a LeBron James who spends over $1 million on his body. I mean, at 36 years old, we already know the types of movements he's still able to do. But what are you able to instill in the youth right now who are listening about movement in athletics?
Well, it starts with building a foundation. It's just like a house. Your body is like a house. If you don't have a foundation, your house will fall down. So that's what it's all with the youth. The youth actually, I want to say when we were growing up training, our foundation was built. Like, imagine if we had a foundation, bro, we'll be great. You know what I'm saying? So like right now, when I work with the youth, I really try to focus on building that foundation, getting them to know how to use their body. And then with the athletes, like in college and professional level now, I'm not going to say it's hard to do that, but like, you just have to really slow everything down. You have to slow it down for them because they're so advanced at their sport where they don't have a foundation. So like, you have to be specific with those athletes. And I think that foundation, I think that's important. And LeBron actually, me and Chris went to the same place down DBC. They worked with LeBron. They told us, man, I know they probably told you that same story. They had to, really backtrack with Bron and build a foundation with him.
What's cool now is social media allows the younger generation to see like oh, these dudes putting in work. They working on their body. Like I had no idea how important it is or how, you know, how the best players in the league work on their body. So social media allows the kids to see that now. And I feel like they're more willing to listen, you know, to somebody like me or Ced preaching it to them, especially with us being former athletes, you know.
Right.
Y'all both are former athletes, trained around the country, New York, LA, DMV. C Marty, you did 10 rounds with Floyd just now, didn't you?
Oh.
Logan Paul.
but no, y'all train a variety of different athletes. Y'all train a variety of different ways and people and skill levels, you know, helping others, helping athletes and getting them to the places they need to go. How has that changed your life, you know, in the last few years, C Marty?
Bro, I had no idea like the impact I could have on people, you know, because I grew up, I hoop, you know, I'm like an introvert. You know, I grew up a mama's boy, single mom, only child, you know what I'm saying? So like
My dudes.
right. So like
Yeah,
I
she
had
here with it.
confidence.
I'm in the gym with her. She here with it. She flex on him.
Yeah. So I had confidence as far as basketball, but like everything else, I saw myself as a regular dude. And you know, this allowed me to see like the impact I can have on people and just the knowledge, you know what I'm saying? Like the knowledge I've developed over the years, just giving that game to people and changing their lives. You know, that's what I'm most thankful for. But yeah, like I had no idea how much I can impact people. Yep.
What does, for you, Ced, what is working with athletes? What does that specifically do for you? Why do you wake up every morning and train guys that are in the same shoes you were in a few years ago?
Man, really, I think that a lot of these injuries out here really hinders careers, you know. And the people I work under, Mike Petrina, you know, he really gave me the opportunity and has been teaching me a lot of the things that I know. And he's giving me game, bro. Like you feel me? He's giving me game. He doesn't have to do that. And I just feel like it's my job to give game back to the DMV. Like you know, give back to people always want to give back to home. And I feel like this is my way of giving back to home, you know, helping these athletes know about certain little injuries and just how they can, you know, prevent a lot of these injuries and how they can, you know, elevate their game off the court or off the field in different aspects of life, man. And I think that's the reason I do it, man, to really help these people, help them get to that next level.
See, Marty, is that something that you do? I mean, you are somebody who helped me a few years back as a former athlete get back into the gym. And I've seen you with dozens and dozens of other athletes as well. Is that something that gives you a sense of purpose, helping athletes?
Oh, for sure, man. Because I know how much I would have valued somebody like myself when I was an athlete, right? So when I got the young dudes, Anthony Cowan, Jeff Doughton, you know, when I got them coming through and I was like in their shoes, oh, it's no question I'm going to help them. So yeah, man, I would have valued somebody like myself. So I definitely feel a sense of purpose with it.
Y'all are both hoopers, right? You named Ant Cowan, Jeff Dowden. We were talking earlier about Joe Hampton and a lot of the top-notch basketball talent over the last few years in the DMV. Did basketball and playing sports growing up help you in the job that you have now? Let me kick it over to Ced.
Yeah, it definitely helped because I know the sport. You know, we know the movements that we make. We know the crossover. We know the step backs. So like, when you're training, like when you're training the athlete and when you look at how they move on the court and the moves they make and their style of play, you can it's easy to know what they need to work on. You know what I'm saying? You know, you don't just go in and throw up 250, 300 pounds, you know, and that's certain phases. So yeah. I'm just going to break it down a little bit. You know, it's certain phases you sort of go to when training the athlete because they're not just your regular person. So in the off season, you know, you're trying to get them right. Yes, you do the strength and conditioning training and everything, but you know, I'll just use Joe as an example. I'm working with Joe Hampton. You know, I actually worked with him yesterday.
Now, not everybody knows who Joe Hampton is. I mean, we watch Netflix and we go back in the archives with the Dematha and the Oakville. Yeah, I remember back in 2015.
Yeah, Joe is the bro. Joe is definitely he's younger than me, but he's definitely I consider him like a DMV legend. Like, you know, he's been doing this since he was like 8. Like, you feel me?
Yeah.
So was Ant Cowan, so was Jeff Dow, and they've been that since they were that young. But right now, yeah, Joe, he has some ups and downs in his career, and he's been on that Last Chance U Netflix show. I think that's where he really starting to blow, and everybody, people here already knew him, but around the country, everyone really knows him. But we were working yesterday, man, and it just so happened I saw him on Mother's Day. Like I ran into him on Mother's Day, bro. We were at the same crib, and he was like, "What's up?" We were just chopping up. He was like, "Bro, let's get some work in." I'm like, "Let's go tomorrow." So it was, I know his game a little bit, but when I got in there, man, just had him move around a little bit, and I was like, "All right, you know what? Let's just work on building a foundation. Like you can never go wrong with that." You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, he was working though. I ain't gonna lie, everybody was working.
Yeah, I think you posted a little something on your story of him, doing some balancing exercises so he can get back in it. Yeah.
That boy hungry. He hungry. He's hungry.
That man worked hard. I'm not gonna lie, man. He worked hard.
See, Marty, talk about some of that hunger. Who are some of the hungriest athletes that you've worked with and trained and you've seen grow?
Oh, well, I already mentioned one, bro. I ain't gonna lie, Anthony. That, bro, he's a dog, bro. I mean, like I remember him going into Maryland his freshman year. He was like, nah, I'm gonna be that guy. Like he been like that even in high school. He was talking about he gonna break Chris Wright records at St. John's. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had a couple thousand at St. John's too.
Yeah, I was about to say Chris Wright records. What about C Marty records?
He told me, he was like, bro, I'm gonna score more than you too. I'm like, all right, and he carried that to Maryland. It's very unfortunate that his season got cut off due to coronavirus, because I think that boy was about to get Player of the Year of the Big Ten, and we talked about that leading up to that senior year. That whole summer we talked about it. But yeah, Anthony's a dog, man. I'm super proud of him.
So how do you motivate these guys, these high-level Division I prospects, NBA prospects like Joe Hampton, like Anthony Cowan? What are the lessons that you're able to instill in them, Ced?
Well, first, man, I really want to teach them about, just teach them about why am I doing things, So when we training, whenever I train someone, I always try to educate them as I'm training them. I just don't want them doing it just to do it, because I know that, yes, I know they should be doing it, but I want them to know why they should be doing it. And the reason for that, man, is even if they don't make it to the NBA, you still go play overseas. And Marty, I know you probably have some experience with overseas, but like over there, across those waters, it's different. They don't really, they show you the love when you're doing well, but as soon as you mess up, they off to the next one. For sure. And I know a lot of people that get injured over there, man, and it's like those people don't really have their best interest. So like, I feel like educating the athletes, especially for overseas, is very important, because they know what to do with their body just in case they go into a team that's maybe like at a lower division and they don't have the access to the gyms, to the trainers, stuff like that. It's good for those athletes to know what to do with their body and how to treat their body so they can play, they can be available. So I always try to just educate them on why I'm doing things so they can know in the future.
I'll take that a different direction. So as far as teaching the young men, the young ladies, they need to understand too, like, well, one they need a person in their corner, like telling them like how good they can be. You know what I mean? Like I didn't have that. I ain't had nobody like, yo, Chris, if you do XYZ, you could be here. Yeah. And I think a lot of people need to hear that, especially now in the social media age. There's so much negativity. You have a bad game on TV or something, you go to your phone, people talking crazy to you. I dealt with that in college. Like that used to crush me. That's one thing. And then another thing too is, I think young men and young women, especially Black, especially us, we got to understand that basketball, football, whatever your sport is, it's a tool. It's not just we could do more than go to the league. And I feel like if you instill that confidence, you instill that hard work into people, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you could do that on the court, you could take that to business. You can take that to whatever your next move is. You could take that to family, whatever. So I think, those are probably the two biggest things on as like why I want to teach these kids,
Yeah, man, I agree with that though, man. I work with Law of Athlete and we have our podcast. And one thing we always our purpose of this is to give these athletes a platform, to figure out what they want to do outside this sport. We always say utilize the sport, don't let it utilize you. And I think that's important. That's a good point,
for sure.
That's a good point, C Marty.
Like for instance, like when I was at Marshall, I don't really talk about my career a lot, but it's just one example. When I had some older guys in front of me, there was some games I didn't play. You know what I'm saying? Like we was in the Conference USA, which it's mid-major, but it's a pretty tough conference. So on games I ain't play, I would roll out the shooting gun and shoot. You know what I'm saying? So when the pandemic hits in California and I can't run my business for a year because gyms are closed, I already developed that dog mentality through basketball. Like I'm gonna figure it out. I ain't about to sit back and complain. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like basketball, like that can take you such a long way outside. You know what I'm saying? When you finish the game, you feel me?
Yeah, you hit on something really crucial in the game and training and the tools you're trying to instill in athletes, right?
For sure.
Who are some of those individuals who have taken those tools, whether it be in athletics at the NCAA tournament or the combine, or into another profession, that you just see that grind and the things that you specifically have helped them with? And see, Marty, I'm gonna kick it back to you since you talked about the tools. You've probably been doing this a little bit longer with athletes, and then I'm gonna talk to Ced about it.
For sure. Look at Jeff Doughton. He just won the NBA G League championship in their bubble. One of my guys, Corey Henson, he played at Wagner in Nevada. He's transitioned. He's skills training kids now. My guy Paris Horn, he played at St. John's University, played overseas for like 10 years, and actually won the TBT tournament 3 years in a row. But he's coaching in prep school in Maine. But I've seen a lot of people transition and move on to that, to that next level or that next phase of their life.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, it makes me feel amazing, man. And like I said before, I had no idea I can impact people like that. So I definitely feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose because of that, for sure.
Now, Ced, you talked about Joe Hampton a lot, and we all know what type of basketball player you were. But I see a lot of your videos. You're working with a wide range of athletes. It to me look like you training people to get to Wimbledon. Not just basketball, not just the DMV.
So I work with all sports, man. Most of my clients are tennis. Most of my clients are tennis athletes. I even work with older people, over 40, 45 plus, who still want to play the game. And that just goes with just knowing the movement of the sport. You know what I'm saying? It's really that simple, bro. Like if you know the movement of the sport, you can train them. It's really that simple. But I enjoy working with the tennis player. Right now I'm working with Will Mahonen. He's a junior up in New York. He's ranked number 4 in the state. That boy good, man, and I work with youth basketball, youth soccer, lacrosse, tennis, golf. So I work with a lot of different athletes, man. It's crazy because I don't work with football and basketball players the most, and it's like I want to so bad, but that's just not where I'm at right now. So, man, like it's
I mean, I think that gives you a wider range, a wider reach,
Yeah, for you to work with basketball.
Exactly. You know the tools, you know the game. You've been in the situations, right? You've been in the struggle. We talking about athletes and basketball again. We got a few minutes left on this podcast, and I want to transition into someone who we all looked up to in that world. And I play basketball as well. Ced knows, C Marty knows. I played a little bit of basketball back in the middle school.
Hey, I was just on the phone with my man Jamal. He went to Bullets. He was like, I was telling him about to get on with you. He was like, bro, he was checking me one day, man.
Hey, shout out to my man. He went to prep and Bullets, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, man, I used to have them battles with them dudes, man. But basketball is my first love as well. And reason being is because of this guy, Kobe Bean Bryant, man. We watched him and we saw him take over the world, not only in the basketball arena, but also off of it, as a family man and as a husband, as an ambassador for the women's game, as an Academy Award winner. Everything he touched was gold. Okay. And of course we know last year, January 26th, in a helicopter crash. His daughter Gianna and 7 others passed away. And actually, I was reading his book, The Mamba Mentality: How I Play. It has essays from Pau Gasol, it has essays from Phil Jackson, and it talks to Kobe about all the things he did to prepare himself for the game. It's an amazing book. You all should go get it. My Deuce got it for me for Christmas. I've been reading it every night. But the one thing I wanted to say about Kobe and to get y'all's perspective was all of the lessons that he has left, with people in all industries. What are some of your favorite memories? What did he teach you, C. Marty?
Man, shoot, I watched a lot of Kobe stuff. The one thing he that stood out to me was when he talked about, like, one summer at the park, he scored like 0 points the whole summer or something. And his dad came up to him and was like, "I'm gonna love you whether you score 0 points or 60 points." And he said that just light a fire under him. You know what I mean? Just to hear that. And that's kind of what I was touching on earlier, like with me training the kids. Like, bro, I want to be that fire for them. Like, yo, you can be here, you can do X, Y, Z. Like, I'm gonna support you. Like, I got you. Like, I got your back. I'm gonna always support you, That was probably the biggest thing. So, I just always show love whenever I can. Because you just never know who needs it or what I could do for somebody. And like I said, I would have wanted that more as an athlete coming up. So, yeah.
Said somebody who is a hooper through and through and a basketball player, from the time you was 2 feet tall to today. Because I remember, and that's no slight to you. You were the best player at 2 feet tall, How has Kobe Bryant's influence helped you in your life and in training with the last few minutes of this show?
Well, Kobe obviously is one of the greatest of all time, one of my favorite players. But I think for me, it's Kobe. Kobe spoke like 7 different languages, bro. He lived in different countries. You feel me? And I think that's the part that really made me like feel connected to him, because I'm the type of person that like to tap into a lot of different things. You might hear me dancing to go-go, dancing to hip hop, then I might be out here listening to country. I just like to tap into so many different things. And that goes along with my training as well, training all these different sports. So I think that's one thing that, that Kobe really like, that's one thing about him that stuck to me, is that, he's smart, man. He's very intelligent. He studies the game. And that man spoke 7 different languages.
He lived all over.
Lived all over, man. So that's
he had an amazing life in 42 years, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, imagine if he had lived another 20 or 30, bro. Like, he killed it.
He never put himself into a box. Like, you know what I mean? He never put himself into a box. And that's what I like a lot about him.
We only have a few minutes left on this show. And I really, really appreciate this conversation. We got to continue, telling these stories about how you all are channeling your inner greatness like Kobe Bryant. But Ced and C Marty, very quickly, I'll stay with you, Ced. What do you want to leave us with, and how do you want to be remembered?
I just want to be remembered as, someone who, everyone has a story. Everyone has their highs, everyone has their lows. I just want people to really embrace all those moments, embrace the lows, embrace the highs, man, and really keep moving forward, and just find your purpose, bro. Once that ball deflate, once whatever sport you're playing, once that's over, don't be afraid to open that next door. But just know you're gonna have to close that door in order for that next door to open. That's just how life works. So that's what I really want people to, to understand, man.
C Marty.
I'll take it in a different direction. So one thing, young athletes out there, make sure you take care of your body. One injury can end your career or hinder your career, just like Ced said earlier. And then for my people that aren't athletes, quote unquote, you really are an athlete. If you have a body, you're an athlete. So, don't be afraid to move around, get in that gym. You could hit me up or Ced up if you need some help. And, one thing with this whole coronavirus, everybody says, trust the science. Well, trust the science with your body too, because it's better for you in the long run to get moving, develop your strength, eat healthy, and just be active.
So no Ocho versus science to end this show, man. We not doing it like
Hey, look, I
Bro,
gotta
bro.
holler. I gotta
He's
holler at
different,
Ocho.
bro.
I gotta holler at Ocho, man.
He's
Let
different,
me and
bro.
Ocho.
Nah,
go
I know.
at it.
Real tip. I know an Olympic gold medalist swimmer who ate McDonald's every day before she raced. I swear on everything. Went to Indiana University, Lily
Different. That's
King.
not the average person though, bro. That's not the.
That's genetics, bro. His genetics
And
is different.
And she's burning like 5,000 calories a day, so that's not going to be the regular person driving to work and sitting in the office all day. You hear me?
All right, see, Marty. Remember the last time you got everybody upset.
All right, bro.
All
I'm
right, so we're
chilling.
gonna end this show right here, right now. Ced, how can we find you real quick? 5 seconds.
Instagram Ced.McFadden, Ced.McFadden.
West Coast, real quick.
CMartyFit, CMarty Fit on Instagram.
I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Thank you so much.
All right,